Hey, welcome to Fireside Chats with Brad. I'm Brad, and over the next few weeks, while we're facing these unique circumstances, I want to bring special conversations to you to inspire you, to encourage you, and really help you to thrive during this difficult time. One of the things that is changing on the landscape of American life right now is millions of people who are used to working in an office place or in a classroom are now working remotely at home. But what's new for many of us is old hat for a lot of people who work from home. Matter of fact, I've got a good friend, Jonathan, who is going to join me on the first Fireside Chats. Jonathan has been working from home for quite some time and has a lot to teach us. So hello, Jonathan.
Hey man, how's it going?
Going pretty well. What has the last week or so been for you? I know you work at home, but your wife doesn't. She's in the healthcare industry. Just tell us a little bit about what life has been like for you under the unique circumstances of COVID-19, also known as coronavirus.
Less than productive. We've had our kids out of daycare all week, and so luckily been able to split some time with my mother-in-law. So their kids are actually at her house right now, but trying to get things done while they're playing, and it's hard at times. And so not gotten as much done as I wanted to this week, but I'm not terribly behind at this point either.
Well, for those of us who are new to working at home, we might be experiencing several frustrations and a lack of productivity. Video conferencing, telecommuting is new for a lot of people, and they're probably going to run into some initial frustrations as they adjust to this new norm. You've been doing this for 5 years. Tell everybody a little bit about what you do.
So most people burn money on marketing. They spend it and don't really get an investment on it or return on that investment. And so I help businesses, I help nonprofits and churches make their marketing money count a little bit more. And so with businesses, that means reaching more people and making more money, winning more deals. For nonprofits and churches, that means reaching more people and having a bigger impact. So I do that through website creation, through marketing consulting, and then through email marketing as well. I've been doing this now. I'm in my 6th year. So started in January 2015.
Great. Well, you certainly do great work. You're based out of North Carolina, but you're serving people all over the country. And you've been so kind to put together 5 tips, 5 best practices for people who are new to working at home. So let's get started. What is your first best practice for people who are working at home?
So the first one is probably the most simple, and it's probably the easiest, that's to get a desk of some sort. It doesn't have to be a real desk. Just get some type of desk. Don't be sitting with your laptop on your computer and looking down, because you do that 8 hours a day and you're going to totally jack your neck up. My first year, that's what I did. I'd work from the couch. I'd work from my bed, on my laptop, wherever was comfortable. And I've had neck problems ever since. So I don't think this is going to last a year, but even for a couple months, if you are working from home and looking down like that, that's probably not the best thing. The ideal would be if you could get your computer raised up a little bit. I actually bought this thing off of Amazon that sets my computer up like another 5 or 6 inches. So you can kind of see I'm looking up at my computer instead of looking down at it because my neck just got so bad. But the first thing would be get a desk. It can be, I saw a picture of a girl in a New York apartment using a laundry basket turned upside down as a desk. It can be a kitchen table, whatever it is. Create a desk of some sort that you can put your computer on that isn't your lap.
That's really great. I saw a local real estate agent who acquired a U-Haul moving box, one of the big ones that you would use for an appliance, flipped it up on its side, and that became the desk. Maybe
I used a card table for a year.
Okay, that'll work. One of the realities that we might see at the end of this is a lot of businesses and industries might realize that work from home is more attainable than they realize. So some of you might look to get a desk to use on a more permanent basis.
Yeah.
It's hard to know.
And standing desks are great. If you have something like a bar top that you can stand and work a little bit, if you have a laptop, that's going to save your hips a ton, because sitting all day is painful as well.
Yeah, especially when you're not in an office where you're getting up and walking the coffee machine or the copy machine or to a coworker's desk. I love that. Get a desk. All right. What's the second tip?
Second tip is to create a workspace. And what I mean by that is a dedicated area in your house that you only use that area for work or primarily for work. In my house, I have a front room that is my office. I've got my desk in here. I've got it set up exactly how I would want it to work. My wife has a little desk over here to the right of me. It was in our bonus room for a while at our old house. And so it's whatever you can do. I know a lot of you probably haven't had time to set this up, so you're just scrambling. So it could be your kitchen table. It could be whatever it is. It could be a corner in your bedroom. But you want an area that when you go to, you mentally flip the switch, I'm at work now. Because you don't want to be sitting on the couch at night trying to relax, trying to rejuvenate for the next day's work and still be thinking you're in work mode. You don't want to be trying to sit with your husband or wife or your kids and you can't turn off work because that's where you've been working all day. So set a place aside that you can work at, and that's your place of work. That's your office.
Yeah, I love that. What you're describing is creating a healthy boundary, which is an important practice in life anyway. And when you start working from home, those lines are so easily blurred. Love the workspace idea. All right, tip number 3.
So here we get into a little more nuance that you're going to have to find what works for you. But the first one, number 3 here, the first of the final 3 nuance ones is to find a routine that works for you. Some people say, get up, take a shower, get dressed just like you would be going to work, and then go to that place in your house that's the workplace and treat it just like work. That can work for you. For me, that doesn't work. I work in gym shorts and sweatpants and hoodies all the time. What I have found for me is that my shower is my reward at the end of the day for working. So I will get up and start working, and then when I'm done, that's when I go shower. And then that way I actually feel better for my personal time. And I feel clean, I feel rejuvenated. So it's also my the way I switch the gears from work time to home time is I get up, I go shower, and now I'm dad and husband again and not business owner. So whatever it is that works for you, whatever's comfortable for you. I think I told Brad before we started recording that I haven't worn jeans in like 2 weeks because with no church last weekend, I don't remember the last time that I've had to get dressed to go out. And that's just more comfortable for me. I enjoy sweatpants and gym shorts more. So whatever it is that works best for you, find that and do it.
That's really good. So some of you might be in a professional work environment and your teleconferences will have a different standard. Figure out what works for you. Jonathan, kind of a spin-off of this. You're your own boss. You get to control your own schedule. That won't be the case for everyone. But do you create kind of some rhythms and routines of quote unquote office hours?
Yes, I had definite office hours. I work. My business is technically open from 8 to 3:30 because generally speaking, I would get up, I'd take the kids to daycare. I'd come home, I'd start working, and then 3:30 is when I shut it off to go to the gym. And then I go to the gym and then pick the kids up. So that's been my routine. And before we moved here, I would go to the gym in the morning. So my routine was 9 to 4, 9 to 4:30. But I don't open my computer at night. There's too much temptation to keep working. The only reason I'll do that, and I'll mention this in the next point, but is if I don't get everything done that I needed to during the day, I might do it after the kids go to bed. But for the most part, my clients are not getting me after work hours. I have found that for me to be the best partner to work with and for me to be the best husband and dad, I've got to give everybody my full attention in the time that is for them. So from work hours, my clients get my full attention. Off work hours, my wife, my kids, they get my full attention, and I don't let those cross as much as possible.
That's really good. One of the difficult dynamics for people to navigate is you would never show up at your dentist's door at 7:30 at night and say, hey, you got a minute to give me a checkup? You work within the office hours. And just because somebody's at home and has access to the work tools doesn't mean that they should have to. Obviously, there's emergency situations and different moments, but the normative, I think it's really wise to have those office hours. Love that.
Yep.
Number 4 is probably of the 5 tips, the one that I love the most. Why don't you share that with our viewers?
So number 4 is to define a successful day. And it's going to be one of 2 ways. It's either going to be based on time in your industry. I know teachers are having to work certain hours. Some businesses are probably requiring you to be there 9 to 5 or something like that. If that's the case, then shut it down after 5. Shut it down when the hours are done. For many of us, and this is how I work, um, it's more task-based. There are things you need to get done. And at the beginning of every day, I have a list of things I want to get done today. And once I am done with those things, I am done. And there's some guilt with that. I'm 5 years in and I still feel guilty that there are days and weeks that I'm only working 4 or 5 hours and making good money while there are people out there working 8-hour days, struggling and everything. But the truth of it is when you work at home, you don't have some of the distractions you have in an office. You don't have those meetings that end up taking an hour that should have been an email. You don't have someone stopping at your desk for 15 minutes and just telling you all about God only knows what. You don't have the water cooler. So you don't have those distractions taking away your time that in the office, you're probably only working 4 to 5 hours anyways.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, work until your point, your successful thing is, and then give yourself the grace to be done.
Yeah.
Because just because you can be working doesn't mean that you should.
I think that's really smart, and it's really a modern reality that we would think otherwise. Imagine if you were a farmer and you plowed the field for a day, and you planted. Once you got finished with the mission, you put the tools down, you go and rest, and also have to look for something. So I love that.
And the flip side of that is there are days that stuff hits the fan and you don't get your task list done. And you've got to be able to make the decision, is this a task that can wait till tomorrow or does it need to get done today? And there are times that it does need to get done today. And once my wife and kids go to bed, I'll come up for an hour, 2 hours at night and punch through just so I don't get behind. But that's few and far between really for me. But it happens.
That's great. That's great. All right. Create a desk, create a workspace, find a routine that works for you, define a successful day. Share with us our last and final tip.
The last one will be give yourself a break. And in your office, you would have those times where you get up and go see a coworker for a few minutes, or you'd eat lunch away from your desk. And just because you're at home doesn't mean you don't deserve breaks. One thing that people think is crazy when they hear this from me is that I'll take a nap a couple times a week, or I'll lay down during the day. And in my family's rhythm, my wife is a nurse. So her being fully awake and fully rested at work is a lot more important than me making websites. If I make a mistake, I press undo. If she makes a mistake with a cancer patient, there's a lot more ramifications.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
So if the kids are up at night, I'll be up with them. And so if I find myself at 10 o'clock and I'm just pressing refresh on Facebook over and over, not wanting to do anything, and instead of trying to push through, I'll give myself 30 minutes to just go sit on the couch and close my eyes or whatever it looks like. And so I will do that. And then when I come back to the desk, I'm 1,000 times more productive. So finding what that break is for you, it might be resting like that. It might be catching up on an episode of a TV show or rewatching Friends or The Office or whatever it is. One episode, not 10, but whatever it is, that break. It could be getting out and walking a lap around your neighborhood. But you would do these breaks in your office. You just got to find out what those look like from home, because if you schedule those in, if you give yourself the time to do those, you're going to be 1,000 times more productive in your work.
And that's what most employers are going to want. They're going to want productivity and effectiveness. So whatever you can do to achieve that, that's going to be priority number one. Well, Jonathan, man, thanks so much for taking a little bit of time and sharing your experiences with those who are doing this for the very first time. Appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us today. And so maybe we'll catch you on the flip side sometime.
Absolutely. Thanks, man.
Yeah. So if you are working from home and finding that to be a new experience, one of the other new experiences that's probably just around the horizon is doing education from home. In the next days and weeks, it's likely that many schools will be flipping on the online education tool. And if that's a brand new idea for you and it's giving you anxiety and you're getting stressed out over what it looks like for you to do that, Good news. On Monday, Fireside Chats with Brad will feature Emily Greer, who's also a stay-at-home businesswoman, but also a home educator. And she's going to give you the best tips for how you can survive and thrive while doing home education. Well, until next time, this is Brad signing off. Thanks so much for joining me today.